We have the latest now from Russia's war on Ukraine. This is new video into us from the scene of that deadly Ukrainian rocket strike on Russian forces inside Russian-held territory. In what is a rare public admission, Moscow confirms that 63 Russian military personnel were killed when a barracks was hit. But Ukraine's military claims that hundreds of Russian troops are dead. That would make it one of the most deadly attacks yet on Russian forces. And critics within Russia are denouncing the country's military leaders. Sarah Larniuk has more on the reaction from London.
Well, I think a lot of people would have expected the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his nightly address to talk about this attack, but instead he sidestepped it entirely and spoke instead about the drone attacks that have continued on the capital. Let's hear some of what he had to say.
Ми маємо інформацію, що Росія планує тривалу атаку шахедами. Її ставка може бути на виснаження наших людей, нашої ППО, нашої енергетики. Але ми маємо зробити і зробимо все, щоб ця мета терористів зазнала провалу, як всі інші.
Now, it wasn't a united front from the Ukrainian military officials when it came to not speaking about the attack. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry on Twitter had this cheeky, let's call it cheeky response. They said, "Don't tease our HIMARS, they bite." HIMARS, of course, being the missile defense system they used to attack that Russian barracks in Makivka, supplied by the United States. But when we move to more of a response from what we're hearing from Russia, outspoken Russian nationalists and Russian bloggers are expressing a lot of anger about the fact that this attack was able to happen at all, and they're saying that commanders who allowed it to happen should be punished. But when it comes to the Russian military, we really have to parse all what we heard from them, because they didn't just admit to 63 soldiers being killed in that attack. They also talked about Ukraine launching 69 attacks across the occupied Donetsk region. And so while the Ukrainian president might be trying to keep the focus on Russian attacks and the impact on civilians, what's happening between the militaries is actually quite a different story.
And Sarah, Russia is now accusing Ukraine of more attacks on Russian territory. So what do we know there?
Yes, it got buried in the news yesterday. There was so much coming out of Russia and Ukraine, but there was the accusation, Russia said, that Ukraine had attacked an energy facility inside the southwest region of Bryansk, cutting power there for several hours. And that came just 1 week after a drone attack on a Russian air base hundreds of kilometers from Ukraine. Again, they pointed the finger at Ukraine for that attack, and earlier in December we saw attacks at 3 different air bases in Russia. Ukraine has maintained that they are not responsible for those attacks. However, in a rare English-speaking interview, the head of Ukraine's military intelligence, Kyrylo Budanov, addressed this question and said he could not accept responsibility. However, he alluded to the fact that more of these attacks are likely coming. He also said they would happen deeper and deeper inside Russia, and he left the door open for further attacks inside Crimea as well.
Sarah Larniuk reporting for us from London.